ABC contributor and former senior DHS official John Cohen joins us now for his weekly segment, Assessing the Threat. John, when you were with the DHS, the counter-drone team, or officially known as the Counter-Unmanned Aerial Systems Team, reported to you. How abnormal is a public fight between federal agencies, and how should the issue have been handled ideally?
Yeah, Lindsay, what we saw today should never happen. In my time at DHS and working in the federal government, I was involved in the planning of numerous counter-drug, counter-terrorism operations here in the U.S. and abroad. And in the planning of these operations, the preparations of the operations, the implementation of these operations, and in the way that we communicated about these operations to the public, it always involved a highly integrated, coordinated approach, including all of the departments and agencies involved in the operation. And what we saw today is, quite frankly, what happens when that type of planning, that type of coordination doesn't occur.
The FAA took a drastic step here, abruptly ordering a 10-day closure of airspace around El Paso. Could that have been an angry overreaction, or might they have had good reason to fear that this new directed energy laser technology could accidentally threaten commercial aircraft?
So here's the issue. The issue is that in using this weaponry, it's designed to not simply blow up the incoming drone or unmanned aerial aircraft, but it can disrupt its communications, disrupt the control of that aircraft. It can even cause that aircraft to fly around in a haphazard manner. Now, this is a heavy airspace. That means there's a lot of commercial flights flowing through it, and you don't want to have a uncontrolled drone flying around and potentially striking a commercial airline.
As Gio mentioned in his report, Transportation Secretary Duffy reversed the FAA's airspace closure, saying that the FAA and Department of War had neutralized a drone incursion from a Mexican cartel. What do you make of that?
I mean, look, illegal drugs flowing into the country is a major problem, and it directly impacts our public safety, our homeland security. And it is a worthy cause, and I applaud the administration for trying to come up with a plan to curtail the activities of the drug cartels, particularly the Mexican drug cartels. And increasingly, these drug cartels are using drones to surveil law enforcement along the border so they can smuggle loads in on land and bypass law enforcement. And they're even using drones to smuggle drugs into the United States. And this has been a problem for over a decade. And we have not done a good job in coming up with a plan to counteract it. So the cause was worthy, as I said before. But as we've seen in other areas, it's not just how you talk about an issue. It's not just how you think about an issue. It's how you develop and implement an operational plan to deal with the issue. And when you don't carry out those plans in an effective, well-coordinated way, you see what you saw today, which is chaos, disruption, and potentially economic problems and increased fear.
I just want to pivot for a moment to the case of Nancy Guthrie. As Aaron Katersky reported, there have been 2 ransom messages, yet no proof of life has been provided. What does that tell you?
Yeah, look, first of all, stranger abductions, kidnapping of adult and children that are for ransom are pretty rare in the United States. They happen in Latin America, they happen in Europe, they happen in other parts of the world. But in the US, it's pretty rare. But they are complicated to investigate. They are complicated to solve. It's difficult to locate and rescue the person who's been kidnapped. And the complexity of these investigations have been made even more intense because kidnappers are increasingly using technology to plan these operations, to receive the ransoms in these operations, and to avoid detection by law enforcement. So what we're seeing here is that the FBI and local law enforcement are dealing with a highly complicated case, and we're hoping that they solve it soon and bring her back to safety.
We all are hoping that. John Cohen, thanks so much.